All right, so we are going to do a couple of practice problems just like we have been. So we need to remember that we have our 3 steps, okay, which is to estimate, to divide, and to check with multiplication, okay? All right, so the first problem that we want to do today is 608 divided by 19. All right, what would you like to do with that 19? Estimate. What are you going to want to round it to, Israel? 20. Very good. All right. So remember, now we look and see if there's a relationship. Does 20 have a relationship with 60? What would the relationship be? 20. Ooh, 20 times 4? Sure about that one? 20 times 4 would be 80. Okay. Genesis is holding up 3 fingers. What's 20 times 3? 60, because it would be 20, 40, 60, right? Okay, so 20 and 60 do have a relationship, so I'm going to keep the 60 and change that 8 to a 0. Okay, so now that I have my zeros, remember if I have 1 in the dividend and 1 in the divisor, I can match them up and get rid of them. So I do have some that I can match up and get rid of. Okay, so that leaves me with 60 divided by 2. So if I cut 60 in half, what does that give me? Okay, Genesis, I'm having a hard time telling what you're trying to see what you're telling me. Can you unmute and tell me what's 60 divided by 2? Okay, think, Wyana, tell me what you're thinking. Why are you thinking 30? Okay, you see that, Genesis? You see what she's saying? Oh, that's okay. All right, so we're saying that our estimate is somewhere around 30. Okay, so what do I do next? What's the second step? The box, we divide. Okay, so I gotta move you guys out of the screen just a little bit over there. Okay, so the box. So it's a 3-digit number, 608. So I'm drawing my 3 columns. 608 divided by 19. Now, do you know your 19s? No, I don't know 19s either. 19 is not a friendly number at all, is it? Okay, so remember I have 2 choices here. I can do my list of multiples, okay? So I can say, 1 times 19 is, okay, whoops. I can say then 2 times 19. Well, I'd have to think about that, right? I know that 2 times 19 is 38, okay? If I don't know beyond that, then I have to start doing my list of multiples, okay? So 9 and 8 is 17, and 3 and 4 and 5. So that's 3 times 19. So I can choose to do that all the way down times 9 if I want. Okay, that's one option, the repeated addition option. The other option is to guess and check. So if I'm looking and I'm saying, you know what, I think maybe Maybe 4 groups will fit in there. Then I can try the 4 and I can do that multiplication and that's 76. Okay. So it's really just what you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable with the repeated addition versus then doing some multiplication. Okay. All right. So remember we're making groups of 19 right now. Okay. So groups of 19. So if I want a group of 19, but I only have 6, do I have enough to make a group? No, I don't. Good. Okay, so that's 0 groups. Well, 0 times 19 is, come on guys, 0 times 19, there you go, Mitt, is 0. Okay, and so when I subtract, I'm left with 6. And now that 6 gets brought over to my next place value, and now I'm dealing with 60. Now, if you have done your repeated addition and you have your list already, it's just like looking at a multiplication chart. I start looking for 60, but I don't want to go over. So I can see right here that 3 groups of 19 is 57, and that's really close. Okay, and if I were to try 4 groups, that's too much. That's 76. So it's really 3 groups here. And then I take away, well, excuse me, I have to multiply first. So the 3 times 19 is 57, and I take that away. And I'm left with 3. And what happens with that 3? Do I throw it away? What do I do with that 3? Okay, so I bring it over to the 8, yes. All right. So now I have 38, and I need 19 in a group. How many groups can I make? Look at the work we did already. Genesis says 2. Well, if I look over here, look at this. All right, that tells me right there, 2 groups will get me exactly what I need. 2 times 19 is 38. So do I have a remainder? I don't. There's no remainder on this problem. So let's think about that for a second, about our quotient and our estimate. Okay, look at our quotient. Our quotient is 32, and our estimate is 30. Are those close? They're super close, aren't they? Okay, I really honestly probably couldn't get any closer if I tried. So now what I want to do is I want to do that last step, which is to check with multiplication. So I'm going to do 32 times 19. Okay, help me out. I want everybody off mute for this so I can hear your answers. Okay, so 9 times 2. 9 times 2 is what? 18. 9 times 2 is 18. Okay, 9 times 3 plus 1 is 28. All right, so I'm going to cross these off so I don't get confused. I'm going to the tens place. 1 times 2, and 1 times 3. Okay, and then I add them together. 8 plus 0, and 8 plus 2, and 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. All right. Is that the number that we started with? It is the number we started with, right? Okay, so we did that correctly. Any questions on that one? Yes. Hmm. Yeah. Okay, so what part is confusing to you? Okay, so then I guess I have to back up a little bit. So, do you know how to multiply? And by that I mean not just that you know your facts. I mean, do you know how to multiply multi-digit numbers? Hmm. Hmm. Okay. So what I'll say for that is, guys, if your parents are showing you a strategy that's different than me, you need to listen. Okay. Um, please don't ever tell your parents, no, I can't do that. I have to do it this way. I personally don't care what strategy you use for anything, as long as you understand it. So if I'm showing you something and your parents are showing you something and you understand the way that your parents are showing you, use that strategy. I'm perfectly okay with that. Okay? Because I want you to understand it. Um, I'm never going to be upset with you if you're using a different strategy than I am. That will never ever be the case. Okay? In fact, I'll probably be happy that you know another strategy that I'm not teaching you. Okay? So, Wyana, if it's making more sense to do, I'm sure your mom is probably showing you long division, is what we call that, the standard algorithm for long division. I'm okay with you using that. Okay. So you'll practice with us when we do the box method, but when you do it on your own, if that long division method is easier for you, then go ahead and do that. Okay. Okay. All right. So our other problem that we're going to do today is 758 divided by 47. So what would you like to do with the 47? Okay, to what, Israel? 50 sounds good to me. All right. Does 5 have a relationship with 75? Are you sure? Doesn't 75 end in 5? Oh, okay. So this is where I usually tell students to think about money. Okay, think about 75 cents. Okay. You know about 75 cents, right? Okay. So I'm gonna say what I mean by that, when I say that, all I mean by that is you have some knowledge of 75 cents, right? You know that 3/4 makes up 75 cents. You know, you have some understanding of that, okay? So what I want us to do, I want us to keep this 75, okay? And I want to think for a minute about nickels, okay? How much is a nickel? How many cents? 5 cents, okay? So think about a quarter. Here's a quarter. How many nickels make up a quarter? 5, right? Because it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, right? So 5 nickels for 1/4. You with me? Okay. But I want 75 cents. So really, I need 3/4, right? You with me? Because 3/4 is 75 cents. Well, you already told me 5 nickels makes a quarter. So down here, that means 5 nickels makes a quarter, and 5 nickels makes a quarter. How many nickels is that? 15, absolutely. Okay, so then what we're saying is, well, we should have dealt with the zeros first. I have one on each side. So you just told me that 75 divided by 5 is 15. Okay, Now, the reason I wanted you to do that instead of changing this to some other number is because I want you guys to use what you know about math to help you break stuff down. Okay? You have knowledge of money. So when it comes to something like 75 cents, and I can think of this as 75 cents, I can think of how many nickels are in 75 cents, and therefore I can figure out 75 divided by 5. Okay? All right, I'm going to erase this part. And what do we do next? Okay, we're going to draw the box. All right, and so this time I have 758 divided by 47. Now, do you know your 47s? Neither do I. Okay, so would you rather do guess and check or repeated addition? What are you thinking? You want to do guess and check or repeated addition? Do we not care? Okay, well then let's do guess and check. All right, so I want to make 47 in a group, okay? But I only have 7. So do I have enough to make a group? No, I don't. So 0 groups. So if I subtract my 7, now I can bring it over here. And now I have 75. All right, so I want you to think about 47 and 75. How many groups do you think might be in 75? Should I start guessing at like 100 groups? No. What should I start guessing at? 5 groups? Okay, I see it says 5. So let's do 47 times 5. All right, so 5 times 7, 35. 5 times 4, 20, plus 3. Oh my goodness, 235. I only want 75. That's way over. So what should I guess now? 2? Genesis says 2. So let's see what 2 groups is. Let's see. So 2 times 7 is, okay, and then 2 times 4 is, plus 1 is 9. Oh, that's 94, right? But I only have 75. So yes, you're right, Genesis. Only one group, okay? So, because 2 groups is too much. So I'm going to take away the one group from 40 or 47, take away from 75. Need to regroup. That's an 8, and that's a 2. Now, don't get confused on this part. This 28, the whole 28 has to go over here in the column. Okay. Now, I realized from the way that I wrote this that I kind of didn't have enough room right there. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to, whoops, I didn't mean to erase the whole column, but that's okay. What I wanted to do is just make this one a little bit bigger. Okay. And then now, whoops, draw. There we go. So this was the 8. And now I'm going to take the 28 and put it here. So now I have a little bit more room. Okay. So you're always welcome to do that. If you realize that you don't have enough room and you need to move some stuff, you can. All right. Okay, so now 47 groups into 288. Well, we already guessed 5 groups was 235. Okay. So where should I go from there? What should I guess now? 6 groups? Okay, let's see what 6 groups gets us. All right. So 6 times 7 is 42. And then 6 times 4 is 24, plus 4 is 28. Ooh, that's closer, isn't it? Okay. Now, if I were to do 47 times 7, what would happen? That would be over, right? Okay. Because this 282 is really close, isn't it? And since we're dealing with 47 in a group, that would be way too much if I did another group. Okay, so that tells me I'm going to have a remainder for sure. So this is 6 groups because 47 times 6 is 282. Okay, and if I subtract, that means that I have a remainder of 6. Okay, is that a reasonable remainder? Yes. Okay, is it less than 47? Yes. Okay, and look at our quotient. Our quotient was 16, and look at our estimate. Our estimate was 15. Okay, so we can be sure that that's most likely correct because it's really close, right? All right, so last thing we're going to do is go ahead and multiply. Okay, so our 16 times 47, 7 times 6, it's a hard one, 42, very good. 7 times 1, 7, good bit, plus 4. So 7 plus 4, 11, good job, Mitt. All right, so I'm going to go to my next row. Okay, so 4 times 6, 4 times 6, 24, good. 4 times 1, plus 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. Okay, so then we have to add. So 2 plus 0, 1 plus 4, 1 plus 6, and then we have to add in our remainder, right? So add in our remainder of 6. So then 2 plus 6, I see your hands, Mitt, 8, and then we have a 7 and a 5. All right, and that is the dividend that we started with. Are there any questions? All right, so